Hey guys, thanks for joining us for session 3 of Introduction to Buyers. Today's going to be all about the timeline of a transaction. So we're going to start our class off with a video overview of the key points in the transaction timeline, and then we're going to take a quick look at a SkySlope file and checklist just to see how everything's organized and where we're going to put all of our documents. And then we're going to do a Q&A and discussion with our broker Ken. So let's get started. So after our offer or counter offers have been accepted and all parties have signed, then we're going to get into our first time slot, which is 3 business days. And what needs to happen within 3 business days is that the buyer needs to deliver the earnest money deposit to escrow. And if the buyer fails to do so within those 3 business days, the seller can give what's called a notice to buyer to perform. And what that means is that it gives them 2 calendar days in order to either perform or the seller can cancel. Next, we're going to get into the 7 calendar day area, which is if you've not already done so, you need to provide the seller with your client's pre-approval letter and proof of funds. Ordinarily, this is put in the offer package, so you wouldn't have to deal with it this far into things, but this would be the latest that you could provide that information. And if the buyer does not provide those items within the 7 calendar days, then the seller can give the buyer a notice to perform. Another thing that can happen in this 7 calendar days area is that the seller needs to deliver to the buyer any seller disclosures, reports, and inspections. And if the seller fails to do so, then you would need to send the seller a notice to perform. Between 7 and 17 calendar days is when you'd be conducting all of your inspections, reviewing the inspection reports and disclosures, and requesting repairs if you're going to do that. "17 calendar days in or 5 days after receipt, whichever occurs last, you would need to, in writing, remove all contingencies or cancel, return all signed disclosures, and if it's an FHA or VA financing, you'd need to deliver the FVA form. And if the buyer does not provide any of the above, the seller can give a notice to perform, or they can negotiate and allow the contingency to continue. "5 calendar days before close, you would need to verify the condition of property. At the close of escrow, you would need to pay the purchase price. And if the loan contingency is still active and the loan is not funded, you'll need to give notice of cancellation or negotiate more time for yourself. If the loan contingency is already removed and the loan is not funded, it's breach of contract, or you can negotiate more time. If the seller can't perform at any point, you can give them a demand to close escrow and or you can negotiate more time for the seller. So just a couple quick definitions of the important time issues. A notice to seller to perform has no time specified. If the seller does not perform, the buyer has the right to cancel. A notice to buyer to perform gives the buyer 2 calendar days in order to perform, or the seller can cancel. A demand to close escrow defaults to 3 calendar days before the other party that issued it can cancel. Next, we'll get into when days end. Per the contract, a day ends at 11:59 p.m. And another thing to note is that if the last day for any act falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or a legal holiday, it's not counted. Instead, the act can be performed on the next calendar day. So if a Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday falls on the first day or any other day than the last day, then it's counted. The first day means the first full calendar day, so a partial calendar day is day 0. So if you get an offer accepted at 2 o'clock, then that's day 0, and then the first full calendar day is day 1. The default rule for delivery is that it's not effective until it's personally received by a buyer, seller, or an individual real estate licensee. Next, we're going to get into our SkySlope tutorial. And we're just going to go over a quick transaction file, and we're going to look at what a SkySlope checklist looks like and where we're going to put all of our documents. Let's get into it. Alright, so next we're going to go on to skyslope.com and log into our SkySlope account. If you do not know how to access your SkySlope account, Cheryl, our compliance director, is where you would find that login information. So if you cannot access your SkySlope account, come to me after the class and I will connect the two of you and we'll make sure you get your login. So you'd click sign in. And then once you're signed in, it should show you all of your transaction history as well as what's active and currently pending. So if we want to see what a buyer SkySlope file looks like before it closes, we're going to click pending. And all of you should have a handout in front of you that shows what a buyer checklist looks like. So we'll go ahead and click the first pending one that we can see. The first page it's going to take you to is the information sheet. And so whether you or your transaction coordinator are normally doing this, this is the first place you would go in order to fill out all of the transaction details and the client details. So once you filled this page out, then you would go over to the checklist section. And this is going to show you what documents are mandatory, what documents you should use if they apply to your situation, and it's going to give you the area where you're going to attach it. And all you would do is click attach, upload document, and then you'd select it from your computer, and then you would just select and click open. And so this is ultimately how the broker gets all of the transaction documents for each file. So you would either you or your TC would be coming in here and you would be uploading all of these sections. There are a lot more detailed SkySlope tutorials. If anybody is completely foreign to this, come to me after class and I'll show you where to find videos on how to do this from start to finish and how to really navigate this better. I just wanted to show you guys a quick overview of where you are supposed to put everything and what a SkySlope checklist looks like. So this is kind of what gives you the roadmap for which documents you need and what a broker package consists of. So now we're going to get into a discussion and Q&A with Ken. Thanks for watching.